Hello everyone, I am Nivedita Jena from Ambika Prasad Research Foundation. Welcome to all of you to our channel Biodiversity and Conservation. Today in this part we are going to learn about the inorganic and organic compounds or components of soil and toxic chemicals including pesticides, their classification and effects, biochemical aspects of heavy metals and metalloids, and many more. So let's start. So let's study about the components of soil. The four major components of soil are inorganic minerals, organic matter, water, and air. Inorganic mineral matter about 40 to 45% of the soil volume, where organic matter about 5% of the soil volume, water about 25% of the soil volume, and air about 25% of the soil volume. The amount of each of the four major components of soil depends on the quantity of vegetation, soil compaction, and water present in the soil. A good healthy soil has sufficient air, water, minerals, and organic material to promote and sustain plant life. The organic material of soil, called humus, is made up of microorganisms and dead animals and plants in varying stages of decay. Humus improves soil structure, providing plants with water and minerals. The inorganic material of soil is composed of rock, slowly broken down into smaller particles that vary in size. Soil particles that are 0.1 to 2 mm in diameter are sand, and soil particles between 0.002 and 0.1 mm are called silt, and even smaller particles, less than 0.002 mm in diameter, are called clay. Some soils have no dominant particle size, containing a mixture of sand, silt, and humus. These soils are called loams. Pesticides. So, pesticides are chemical substances that are meant to kill pests. In general, a pesticide is a chemical or a biological agent such as a virus, bacterium, antimicrobial, or disinfectant that deters, incapacitates, and kills pests. This use of pesticides is so common that the term pesticide is often treated as synonymous with plant protection product. It is commonly used to eliminate or control a variety of agricultural pests that can damage crops and livestock and reduce farm productivity. The most commonly applied pesticides are insecticides to kill insects, herbicides to kill weeds, rodenticides to kill rodents, and fungicides to control fungi, mold, and mildew. Coming to its classification and effects, so these are grouped according to the types of pests which they kill. So the first one is insecticides. So the second one is herbicides. In third, rodenticides, bactericides, fungicides, and larvicides. Then based on how biodegradable they can be considered as biodegradable. So the biodegradable kind is those which can be broken down by microbes and other living beings into harmless compounds. And another one is persistent. While the persistent ones are those which may take months or years to break down. And another way to classify this is to consider those that are chemical forms or are derived from a common source of production method. So the chemically related pesticides are organophosphate, carbamate, organochlorine insecticides, pyrethroid, sulfonylurea herbicides, and biopesticides. The effect of pesticides. The toxic chemicals in these are designed to deliberately released into the environment. Though each pesticide is meant to kill a certain pest, a very large percentage of pesticides reach a destination other than their target. Instead, they enter the air, water, sediments, and even end up in our food. Pesticides have been linked with human health hazards from short-term impacts such as headaches and nausea to chronic impacts like cancer, reproductive harm. The use of this also decreases the general biodiversity in the soil. If there are no chemicals in the soil, there is higher soil quality, and this allows for higher water retention, which is necessary for plants to grow. The biochemical aspects of heavy metals. Heavy metals interfere with physiological activities of plants, such as photosynthesis, gaseous exchange, and nutrient absorption, and cause reductions in plant growth, dry matter accumulation, and yield. Heavy metals also interfere with the levels of antioxidants in plants and reduce the nutritive value of the produce. Another important biochemical aspect is the induction of oxidative stress due to heavy metals, where reactive oxygen species like superoxide, anion radical, hydrogen peroxide, and hydroxyl radical are formed, which are highly reactive in nature and cause damage to DNA, proteins, and lipids. What are metalloids in environment? Metalloids can be defined as chemical elements whose physical and chemical properties fall in between the metal and non-metal categories. Boron, germanium, silicon, antimony, arsenic, tellurium, and polonium are the seven most widely recognized metalloids. Typically, these metalloids have metallic appearances, but they are usually brittle and only mediocre electricity conductors. Chemically, these elements usually behave as nonmetals. Metalloids have the ability to form metallic alloys. Other physical properties and chemical properties of the metalloid elements are usually intermediate in nature. In general, these elements are extremely fragile and therefore do not have many structural applications. In alloys, catalysts, biological agents, glasses, flame retardants, optical storage, and optoelectronics, semiconductors, pyrotechnics, and electronics, metalloids and their compounds are used. So, general properties of metalloids are metalloids typically look like metals, however, these elements often behave like nonmetals. In second, physically metalloids are brittle, somewhat slimy substances that are easily solid at ambient temperatures. These elements usually have intermediate to fairly strong electrical conductivity, and metalloids are known to have electronic band structures that are similar to semimetals or semiconductors. Chemically, these elements usually act as nonmetals in a relatively weak manner. These elements generally have intermediate energies of ionization and values of electronegativity. Metalloids are known to form amphoteric or weakly acidic oxides. These elements have the ability to form metallic alloys. Many of the other physical and chemical properties of metalloids, in essence, are intermediate, and the application of metalloids, including metalloids and the compounds of metalloids, are widely used as alloys, biological agents, flame retardants, catalysts, glasses, and optical storage media. These metalloids are also known to have applications in optoelectronics, semiconductors, pyrotechnics, and electronics. Alloys formed when combined with transition metals are extremely well represented when it comes to the lighter metalloids. Boron has the ability to form intermetallic compounds. This element also has the ability to form alloys with rich MnB composition metals if the value of N is greater than 2. And some medical applications of metalloids, including each and every one of the six elements that are widely known as metalloids, are known to be either toxic or to have medicinal and nutritional properties. For example, compounds of antimony and arsenic are known to be especially toxic. However, boron, arsenic, and silicon are extremely important trace elements. The four elements boron, arsenic, silicon, and antimony are known to have many medical uses. The remaining two elements, like germanium and tellurium, are known to have great potential for medicinal applications. Furthermore, boron is used in herbicides and also in insecticides. This element is an active trace element which has several antiseptic, antiviral, and antifungal properties in the form of boric acid. Carcinogens in the air. Ambient air, particularly in densely populated urban environments, contains a variety of known human carcinogens, including organic compounds such as benzopyrene and benzene, inorganic compounds such as arsenic and chromium, and radionuclides. These substances are present as components of complex mixtures, which may include carbon-based particles that absorb organic compounds, oxidants such as ozone, and sulfuric acid in aerosol form. The combustion of fossil fuels, for power generation or transportation, is the primary source of many organic and inorganic compounds, oxidants, and acids, and contributes heavily to particulate air pollution in most urban settings. So, the cancer and mechanism of carcinogenesis. Cancer is a group of diseases in which genetically damaged cells proliferate autonomously. Such cells are unable to respond to normal regulatory mechanisms and proliferate. As a result, the nearby normal cells are deprived of nutrients and eventually crowd surrounding healthy tissue. These cells may form either benign or malignant tumors depending on the damage they have sustained. Benign tumors are limited to a specific location and grow slowly. They are not considered cancerous and rarely cause death. In contrast, malignant tumors are often fatal because they can undergo metastasis. They migrate through blood or lymph vessels to distant locations throughout the body and interfere with normal functions and cause death due to failure of life-sustaining processes. So, carcinogenesis is characterized by three separate stages, which are initiation, promotion, and progression. Initiation is the first stage of carcinogenesis and represents the occurrence of an irreversible change in a cell. This change is probably a genetic change or a mutation that results in a neoplastic cell and is caused by an initiating agent that causes damage to DNA. Then promotion is the second stage of carcinogenesis and is characterized by a clonic expansion of the initiated cell to a benign tumor. The clonic expansion of initiated cells is not autonomous and is dependent on the repeated exposure to the promoter. Promoter may be an exogenous or an endogenous chemical substance, such as a hormone. Then in third, progression is the third stage of carcinogenesis and is characterized by the autonomous chronic expansion of mutated cells, even when the promoter is not present. And progression describes the irreversible transition from a benign to a malignant tumor. Chemicals that act as initiators and directly damage DNA are known as genotoxic. The chemicals that act as promoters are not able to produce mutations on their own, but can increase the risk of cancer by increasing and stimulating the growth rate of mutated cells.